Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear us. We are here to start the 6th Manutech SLEIGHT science event dedicated to machine learning. This event is organized in cooperation with the LabEx Lyon in Lyon, from Université de Lyon, and Doctoral School Mega and Materiaux and SES, Science, Science, Engineering and Health. It is also organized in cooperation with the AFM, Association Française de Mécanique, and the cluster Minalogique. So I will briefly introduce Manutech SLEIGHT Graduate School, and after that I will let the floor to the speakers on machine learning. So for new people or people attending for the first time such an event, what is the Manutech SLEIGHT Graduate School? Manutech SLEIGHT ambitions are dedicated for the implementation of a graduate school on light surfaces engineering, for strengthening the scientific attractiveness and the international impact. The aim is also to develop research projects at the highest level of international excellence and to set up new courses or new modules in close connection with the research activities. By the way, we are expecting also to broaden towards innovation and knowledge transfer activities. For that, we succeed in a 10-year funding of more than 6 million euros for developing all these activities. The scientific objectives of Manutech SLEIGHT deals with the interaction of light with surfaces. When photons arrive on a surface with all types of materials, metals, ceramics, but as well biological tissues, photons can modify the surfaces, and one objective is to predict and experiment surfaces modifications. And this is the goal of the scientific axis 1, to predict, test, define new processes and functionalization of surfaces by light. By the way, by modifying surfaces with light and by a proper control of light engineering, we can also engineer and control the effects of surface modifications, and this is the goal of the scientific axis 3 for engineering and control of light-induced surfaces modification effects. But also, when light can be also used to probe surfaces and to image and extract information from such surface imaging. This is the goal of the scientific axis 2, to extract full information and meaning from surface imaging. The SLEIGHT consortium to develop such ambitious program deals with 8 academic institutions, Université of Lyon, which is a coordinator of the program, Université Jean Monnet in Saint-Étienne, which operates the program, INSA Lyon, Institut d'Optique Graduate School in Saclay, École des Mines de Saint-Étienne, University of Lyon, École Centrale de Lyon, and ENISE. The consortium gathers also 2 research organizations, CNRS and INSERM, and as well 3 companies, IRAIS from HEF Group, Manutech USD, and Keranova. The ecosystem to develop this program gather also innovation clusters and competitiveness clusters. like Minalogic, which is a partner of this event, as well as CMES, a competitiveness cluster dedicated to the creation of integrated mechanical systems. As well, we can rely on the French Tech One Lyon-Saint-Étienne hub, specialized in digital technologies, as well as Pulsalis, the deep tech innovation incubator. The graduate interdisciplinary training program include 10 master's tracks in the domains of photonics, surface and materials science, with the master optics image vision multimedia. Here are proposed 4 Erasmus Mundus program on photonics for security and reliability and safety, computational color and spectral imaging, imaging and light in extended reality, and the new one, radiation and its effect on microelectronics and photonics technologies. It includes also 3 master tracks on surfaces and interface science engineering, advanced imaging and materials appearance, and imaging technologies for extended reality. The training program includes as well master tracks in data science, 1 international program on machine learning and data mining, and 1 track on data and connected systems. And for a full interdisciplinary offer, we have also 1 master track on bioengineering and health, and this is a track on cell and tissue engineering operated by the medical faculty. The training offer include also the research tracks of 2 engineering schools, Institut d'Optique Graduate School with the training offer in Saint-Étienne, and the research curricula, the research track from INSA Lyon. The training offer of this graduate school includes also 2 doctoral schools, the doctoral school Science, Engineering and Health, and the doctoral schools on mechanics, energetics, and acoustic. So the goal of this Manutech SLEIGHT graduate school is to bring research and training closer together. And for that, the graduate school supports students, researchers, as well as companies through attractiveness scholarships, ingoing and outgoing mobilities for researchers, doctoral students, and more recently for master's students. It offers also the access to the equipment of Manutech USD. It offers also some funding for acquisition of scientific and educational equipments. It supports also the participation to the organization of international conferences in Saint-Étienne and Lyon. And we can also, through this funding, recruit higher pre-maturation engineers to go towards innovation. We also launch a new technology platform on imaging and extended reality to support training offers as well as research activities. And we support also the development of new modules and courses related to SLEIGHT's core activities. By the way, the graduate school, Manutech SLEIGHT, is able now to deliver dedicated Manutech SLEIGHT certificate for master students in order to attest and prove the inclusion into a graduate school. The graduate school supports as well as research projects through scientific projects and PhD certification. And just keep in mind that the next call will be in January 22. So what has been done since 2018, the beginning of the graduate school? We are now offering 10 master tracks, including 4 new certifications: Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree at University Jean Monnet, as I told you just before. These tracks are coordinated by Nathalie Détouche, Philippe Colantoni, Alain Trémaud, and Sylvain Girard. And now, for the next September, there will be 2 new tracks starting at University Jean Monnet. We also funded 3 international mobilities, including 1 full year in Ottawa from Damien Muselet. We also prepare a Manutech SLEIGHT certificate, which award master students actively participating in the 3 interdisciplinary activities of the graduate school. And for all master students attending today, you have to discuss with your master coordinator to prepare such certificate. We delivered and we offered 7 attractiveness scholarships for master students, as well as we developed 1 technical platform on imaging and extended reality. We also developed several research projects with 8 PhD projects of funding, 5 postdoctoral projects of 18 months, and we also fund 8 master internships. We proposed up to now 1 call for proposal for thesis certification and with 4 PhD certification, as I will develop a little bit later. We also organize, and this is the goal of this week, we also organize 4 SLEIGHT Science events with 100 to more than 200 attendees per edition. And finally, we support also 5 international conferences organization on the Saint-Étienne-Lyon site. We also organize 1 full day event on photonics and health, co-organized with the cluster Minalogic, and dedicated to the SLEIGHT community, but also for industry and industrial partners. So in order to develop this graduate school, the governance of the project is organized like this. What is important is the administrative office with Cécile Etienne, that you might know, the project manager, Aurélie Ibon, the assistant, and the new girl in the project, Elise Foras, for communication as communication officer. On the educational point of view, the educational board is chaired by Pierre Chavel, who will talk at the end of this presentation, and the scientific board is chaired by Karine Mazenelli-Varlon. We are relying also with an advisory board made with international experts and national experts that made some recommendations and advices in order to help in developing the program. So what are we developing on surfaces, light engineering, health and society? I will briefly comment on the funded project on the different axes. Just remember, the scientific axis 1 is made for prediction, test and definition of new processes and functionalization of surfaces by light. What we include in light is obviously ultra-short laser pulses. The scientific axis 2 is for relevant data extraction from surface imaging. so imaging and data sciences, and the scientific axis 3 is for engineering and control of new light-induced surfaces modification effects. This program is developed with 8 multidisciplinary laboratories working on light surfaces engineering, data sciences, and imaging and biology. Here are the different labs. We are also these laboratories and the graduate school work also in close collaboration with the LabEx Manutech SLEIGHT and 2 equipex, so excellent equipment of excellence, Manutech USD and IVTV on engineering and aging of living tissues. This program is developed in a public-private partnership with different platforms, the 2 equipment of excellence, Manutech USD and IVTV, and as well with 3 companies, HAF Group, Keranova, and as well the Equipex Manutech USD, which is also a company. This allows us to address pluridisciplinarity in this program with light, optic, photonic, and lasers, surfaces, but as well engineering and bioengineering and imaging data sciences. So what are we dealing with? This program extends from the fundamental of light-matter interaction with light as a probe, as well as laser and ultra-short lasers, in order to address contactless engineering for all types of materials with a high flexibility and control damage, with the capability for automation and high productivity, as well as in situ control. And this allows to address several fields of application, such as biology, health, energy, sensors, as well as safety and traceability. As examples, for instance, this graduate school so extends from the fundamental to the applications on photonics and surface engineering, for instance, for grating fabrication, for sensors, for instance, as well as surface modification on scales ranging from the millimeter, micrometer, and as well more recently down to nanometers, in order to address the fields of energy, for instance, wettability, photovoltaic application, solar concentration, but as well also for security, for instance, with new surface functionalizations. It extends also to applications on the biomedical field, as for instance here with surfaces modified by lasers, surfaces on which you can see, surfaces on which you can see cells in red and pink here, aggregating at specific locations. Such applications deals also with the modification of biological tissues with light, and this is the case with eyes, modified and in a controlled manner with ultra-short laser pulses due to the specificities of ultra-short laser pulses. The applications extend also to the field of data sciences and imaging, as reported here, for instance, for imaging of tissues, but also imaging of different engineering field, like mechanical, for instance, and data sciences can help us a lot, not only for pure data science development, but also in the field of in the different field, as you will see just before. What are the examples of funded research projects? Up to now, we have funded short projects, so 4 to 6 months projects with different projects. In gray, closed project, and in yellow, one ongoing project. We have funded one project, new ID on femtopinning in order to modify the mechanics and strains of materials by femtosecond lasers. We have also funded scientific short project on field in between surface functionalization by laser femtosecond by femtosecond laser and data mining, and also a project on bone imaging and at the interface between biology, bone imaging, and machine learning. And we have also funded several short projects to address new functionalization, as for instance, thermomechanical properties of silicon by surface texturing in order to enhance the stability of this component in radiative environments. We also funded a project on laser texturing of dental implants for the adhesion and cell differentiation. We also funded a project on magnetic material selective laser melting or sintering for HFRF components, and one project on microstructuring of surfaces for surface sensors using plasmon resonance. And these short projects help the community and the researcher to develop full project. And here you have the ongoing funded project after 4 calls for project. In blue, you have here the project with postdoc support, and in green, the ongoing project with a PhD support. I will briefly present each project. So on the scientific axis 1, the first funded project that ends this year is the project Densify in order to develop dense structures on the nanoscale. You have for all projects the scientific coordinator as well as the postdoc or the PhD student. The goal here is to develop superdense material and structural transformation due to the unique capabilities of ultra-short lasers to process materials in highly under equilibrium conditions. The project MorphoSurf developed, which is ongoing, deals with developing new nanoscale surface morphology by controlling time and polarization of ultra-short laser pulses. You can see here an example where we are able, and people, the PhD here is able to go down to 100 nanometer scales with a simple ultra-short laser, and then this is not so simple. And the goal here is to go towards reactive surfaces. On the same time, we funded a project on the diffusion of nanoparticles on surfaces. This is a project at the interface between transmission electron microscopy and machine learning, deep learning. The goal here was to study the nanoparticle scattering, to make some object detection and tracking in electronic microscopies imaging through machine learning and probabilistic estimation. And this is a project that will end this year. Another ongoing project with a PhD student deals with the quantitative identification of physical characteristics of solid interfaces in relation to tribological properties. The goal here, with this ongoing PhD, is to address tribological properties, third body behavior, and quantitative identification of physical characteristics with some learnings, with the use of some learnings method. And the last project dealing with this scientific axis too is a project that starts right now, dealing with machine learning for high definition bone digital twin. The idea here is to use machine learning, generative adversarial networks, and transfer learning in order to reach high resolution images with medical imaging with some kind of low apparatus resolution in order to address bone aging and as well astronauts' bone behavior. Under scientific axis 3, dealing with new functionalization, one funded project that will end this year is deals with higher anterior segment laser engineering. The goal here is to use femtosecond laser in order to make some tissue engineering, such as cutting, surfacing, biomechanical modification, as well as permeabilization for the anterior segment of the eye in order to treat presbyosa, for instance, or to make some corneal grafting. One ongoing project, funded project, deals also with the characterization of passive thin films by surface plasmon mode. The goal here is to make some surface modification with light in order to make gratings that will act as surface sensors and in order to detect passive films or native oxide layers for electrochemistry. And the last ongoing project deals with multifunctional texturing by femtosecond laser for dental implants in order to promote osseointegration and avoiding bacterial contamination. That means that the goal is to address the different part of the dental implant to select the functionalization. This project is coupled with a new European funding from the European Innovation Council. This is a program which is head in Lyon-Saint-Étienne by CEDAO from Lab Hubert Curien. And this is a program in partnership with several partners in Germany and Austria. We have also several projects to be started that have been accepted recently. One project will start on the follow-up of the morphology of molten bats in laser melting, metal melting. Another project will deals with the mechanical consequences of femtosecond laser irradiation of metals, and this is some follow-up of one short project previously funded. There will be also another program for ultra-fast laser treatment of metallic glass surfaces for biological applications, such as for antibacterial, antiviruses surfaces. One program will be developed at the interface between photonics and biology in order to develop surface plasmon resonance-based sensors for monitoring in vitro bone models. And the last program that will start with a PhD is a program which aims to develop periodic van der Waals origami by ultra-fast laser nanotexturing. We also funded PhD certification, and this was a new call We fund it for PhD, for ongoing PhD, mainly on the scientific axis too, with dealing with data sciences and imaging. One for appearance prediction by composite materials in the tactile field, one on physics-guided machine learning, one on intravascular manometry by vectorial Doppler ultrasound, and the last one for stereolithography additive manufacturing of ceramic composites for medical application. By the way, you can see that we are funding projects both in core scientific domains of the graduate school, as well as the interface between the different fields, photonics, biology, machine learning, imaging, and so on. What are the forthcoming events of the graduate school? Please save the dates. The SLEIGHT Science event, the next SLEIGHT Science event will be in January 22 from 10 to 14 of January, and it will cover all SLEIGHT's topic. It will be in Saint-Étienne. And the next one will be in July of next year, from 4 to 8 of July, and it will be dedicated to the field of health and photonics. Concerning the international conferences, there will be in next November a conference on radiation and its effect on components and systems. This is the first edition of a high-level and largely international conference. There will be also a conference organized as well in November in Saint-Étienne on metallic nano-object, and this is the edition of an ongoing conference traveling all around Europe. And the last event, which is a very large event, this is the 7th World Tribology Congress with several thousand attendees, and it will occur in July 22 in Lyon. So I will now let the floor to Pierre Chavel, which is the chair of this SLEIGHT Science event, to briefly introduce this week on machine learning.
Thank you, Florence. Welcome again to this SLEIGHT Science event, all of you. As you know, the SLEIGHT Science event, offered twice a year, are the main opportunity for all members of the SLEIGHT Graduate School to meet. With this week, we are offering sorry, I have to learn about this. We are offering a great program on machine learning, and I would wish to thank Marc Seban for organizing the program and coming up with 7 lectures by outstanding keynote lecturers. I want also to thank the collaboration with the Association Française de Mécanique and the 2 doctoral schools, Méga and Matériaux, from Université de Lyon, in particular for the joint session on Wednesday. We are introducing for the first time industrial sessions, and 4 companies are going to tell us about their relation to machine learning. We thank Minalogic and Corinne Pasquier for the collaboration, which hopefully is a new opportunity that we can continue in the next sessions, possibly. As usual in the SLEIGHT Science events, there will be 1 doctoral student session with 8 presentations, chaired by Thomas Grenier and Mathieu Hébert, and 1 pitch session for master students who will tell us about their ongoing directed research projects. This will be chaired by François Jacquenet. And scientific axes 1 and 3 will hold a workshop. And finally, please attend the award ceremony on Friday at noon, where we will announce the winners of the best master student pitch presentation and the best doctoral talk. Finally, we are all sad that we cannot meet. This is a networking event, and it is sad if we are not able to interact during a networking event. For the lectures, this kind of setting is a good compromise, but when it comes to interacting with other scientists, that is not satisfactory. But we are offering, for the first time, the opportunity to meet and discuss with colleagues in dedicated rooms with a new tool, which is called Gather Town. Go back to the invitation that you received on July 1st, and you can move and visit the tool Gather Town. It is open all day, all night, also if you cannot sleep. In particular, we recommend that you use the lunch breaks and meet with colleagues and ask questions or discuss any topic of your interest using Gather Town. So thank you and welcome to this session again, Florence. No, I let you conclude.
So just to close this introduction to the session, you can follow the news from Manutech SLEIGHT, both on the website, manutechsleight.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn with Manutech SLEIGHT, on YouTube. We invite you to go on this YouTube channel, because there are several videos of researchers, master students, PhD students, and you can somewhere enter in the different labs and follow what we are working on. You can also follow us on Twitter, and then just for all of you, please go on the chat. Cécile Etienne, thank you again. The link for Gather Town. Then you have also the information on the booklet that you can upload. And then during all break, lunch, and even nights, as told by Pierre, you can meet all attendees and discuss in small committees, in large committees, and get information for the welcome desk. So now we are pleased to wish you a great event, and if you have questions, we can try to answer a few questions. Otherwise, we will have a small break so that you can connect to Gather Town, for instance. You will be also able to follow the courses on Gather